The year has just begun and LEGO has sealed off the third 2025 LEGO Ideas review period. This has 75 projects, which is a little bit more than half of what was the previous review period. The second LEGO Ideas review period for 2025 had 146 projects. While it's nowhere near that level this time, we still have a bunch of exciting projects to get through, and I'm going to let you know which I think will be made into LEGO sets. And I would say a LEGO set from this review period, based off of the timeline of different review periods around this similar time, the third review period, would come out in late 2027, which is kind of crazy. I mean, we just started 2026, and we're looking at potential 2027 LEGO sets. First, we'll take a look at this Naruto noodle shop. This is the 4th time that this very project has reached 10K. The other 3 were not approved. Will things change this time? I don't know. I hope so. I have no interest in Naruto as a property, but I absolutely love the build of this set, and I really want to see more LEGO anime licenses. It's a whole medium that LEGO hasn't tapped into. We've seen adaptations of anime get LEGO themes, where we had very recently the Netflix live-action One Piece, and then way back in 2008, we had the Speed Racer live-action movie. This submitter always has a great capture of what LEGO Naruto minifigures would look like, and I absolutely love their minifigure designs. So I personally hope this would get made. Now, will this get made? Okay, look, there's something holding this back. You see, there's Fortnite Naruto skins, and they do not have LEGO variants. Something like Bleach actually got official LEGO variants. Naruto does not, even though both of them are Shonen Jump properties. Now, the thing here is that the Fortnite skins are Naruto Shippuden, which I'm not a Naruto fan, but from an outsider, from what I've consulted with my friends who do like Naruto, they say that one is a little bit more mature than the Naruto original series that this set is based off of. So that's one point in the direction that they might make this set, since it isn't Shippuden, but we've seen LEGO break their own rules countless of times. I mean, the most recent Stranger Things series was very gory. So I wouldn't be surprised that even if there was a Naruto Shippuden set that they wanted to make, LEGO would make it. Regardless, like I said, this is based off the original series, and I see it just kind of on the lower side of being possible, just because this has been denied 3 times already. Maybe they were trying to see, okay, how is the popularity with the LEGO One Piece sets? And we know there's going to be more One Piece sets later this year, so maybe it was successful. So I don't know. I'd say lower possibility, but not totally impossible. There's this Google Chrome T-Rex runner, which, hey, look, this is a unique license. Usually we get the same licenses in these 10,000 supporters reviews. I haven't seen this in Ideas before, and I really love how they captured that game that was kind of sentimental to like my high school experience. I remember people were like, oh, there's this secret game that you could play on Google Chrome, and it was like this little T-Rex runner game. I do feel it might be a tad niche of a license to sell a set that sure would be around $40 or something like that. That I don't know if LEGO would pick this. I would love if they did, because it would be such a random choice, and I think they did a great job capturing this little game, but I'm going to have to put it in a very low likelihood just because it feels too niche of a product to sell. I love this project of Ramen Noodles, but I could guarantee you that this will not be approved because LEGO just recently announced that another LEGO Ideas Ramen project is going to be made as a set, which is this one right here. So yeah, this is an easy no. Another easy no that still has a cool build to it are the potted plants. This just overlaps with their LEGO Botanicals theme that I cannot see LEGO approving this. There's a new LEGO Garfield that is in review. Now look, in the last review, we had this Garfield by Wet Wired. We still don't have the results of the last review, so we don't know if that's going to be made. This one is a fantastic build like the previous one. However, I feel this one's less likely because this one has the sitting down, more comic style Garfield. Like this one in the review we're looking at is the classic Garfield design. And I feel like the one on 2 legs is something that LEGO wants to do a little bit more, because that one matches, say, the most recent Garfield movie. It has more of a universal appeal than the one sitting down. Plus, we have the advantage of the Wet Wired one that came in a review before this, so it's like, okay, if they were going to approve one, they could also get away with saying, oh, this is the first one. Now, they actually denied a Garfield LEGO Ideas project that reached 10,000 supporters a couple years ago, which was this one, so that would be the only mark against that. Most people know what Garfield is, and you always see Garfield on random merchandise and stuff like that. Like I said, there's a Garfield movie, but there's a new Garfield movie coming out in a couple years, still starring Chris Pratt or whatever. And recently we got the announcement that there's going to be a Lego Snoopy set from Ideas. That's another character that started out on these comic strips that has just universal appeal. So yeah, I could totally see them improving this. The only thing holding it back is that this specific project came after one that I think is a little bit more marketable. There's the Princess Bride 40th anniversary set, which is the second submission of this. This reached 10,000 supporters before, but was denied by Lego. There was also another Princess Bride project that was denied by Lego, but just because it was denied once doesn't mean it won't become a set. Still, I think this was denied for reasons that this movie isn't really something that moves merch as much. Like, you know, you see some other classics like Back to the Future and the DeLorean set will sell out. Even if the film is a classic, if they release a Princess Bride set, I don't see it selling out anytime soon. And Lego is kind of picky with what movies they make as Lego Ideas sets. So yeah, I don't think this is going to happen this time. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation Griswold House. Very interesting because there's another National Lampoon Vacation submission in this very Ideas review. So I guess let's tackle both. I don't know if one would be more likely than the other. And I think these both have an equal likelihood. Where the build for the house itself is so big, I don't think this would be something that sells either. Look, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation has become a Christmas classic, but it's not like the Home Alone house where the house itself is so iconic. This would be something that would cost a lot of money, and it would be for a build that in itself is kind of similar to, say, the Home Alone house, and I don't see this being something that would fly off of store shelves either. That's not to say that there hasn't been large Lego Ideas 80s movies sets. I mean, most recently we got the Goonies set where I'm like, okay, the build there isn't the most iconic thing out there, but that does feel distinct from other things that are on Lego store shelves. Regardless, I don't think this is likely to happen, but hey, this is one of 4 currently in review, so that has something to say with some popularity towards making this as a Lego Ideas set. So maybe I'm completely wrong there. There's a resubmission of another Lego Ideas Bob's Burger project that was denied after 10,000 supporters. So here's another shot. Not sure much will change this time. I mean, it is a distinct build. You know, we don't really get restaurant builds from Lego Ideas. This is a show that's relatively popular, but I don't know. I was looking at the Google search trends, and it seems like, okay, it's about as popular as it was a few years ago, but it's on a very, very small decline. But I just don't know if this is a merch mover. I mean, I do see a bunch of different merch for Bob's Burgers at stores, but I'm not sure this is something that would warrant enough sales for Lego to say, okay, yeah, we're going to make a set of this. Again, they're pretty picky with licenses for Lego Ideas. As much as it seems like they're not, they don't pick up every show as a Lego Ideas set. People act like this theme is consumed by licenses, but there's only been 2 animated shows that have gotten Lego Ideas sets, which is an Adventure Time set. That set flopped, and then there's also the Flintstones set. So yeah, I don't see this as likely. All right, I'm going to screen record the rest of these projects. It was getting a little bit painful to like edit all of those individual pictures. This is another Ratatouille project that reached 10,000 supporters. Look, this is the first time we're going to get from this specific creator. And I think a Ratatouille restaurant lends itself to a Lego Ideas set where it's a very popular movie that never got any sequels or anything like that. You know, it has that Disney Pixar charm back when Pixar was at its prime. But for some reason, Lego has never made a set based off this. There was 3 projects submitted by the same person that reached 10,000 supporters, and they just kept denying that one. I think that person gave up because they don't have any currently gathering supports. And then there was also BrickHeadz that reached 10,000 supporters that was also denied by Legos. So yeah, for some reason, Lego doesn't want to do a Ratatouille restaurant. I don't get why. I think it would be very popular and it would be a hot seller. It wouldn't be something that would be too expensive. Like if this was released, it'd probably be like 200 at most, I feel like, maybe 150. So yeah, I don't think this will get made just based off of previous project success rates. K-pop Demon Hunters. Yeah, this is actually only the second project for K-pop Demon Hunters to reach 10,000 supporters. You know, we got another project of this right here that reached 10,000 supporters, but there has been leaks that Lego K-pop Demon Hunter sets are coming out, and apparently they're going to be mini doll. So I am in the camp that I don't think any Ideas projects are going to be made for K-pop Demon Hunters, and this is just something they would keep within house, you know. Oh, here's our own original K-pop Demon Hunters theme, you know. But I also hope that we get K-pop Demon Hunters minifigures, and I think Lego would be stupid not to give us K-pop Demon Hunter minifigures. Those characters are just so popular right now, and sticking to just mini dolls seems like they're shooting themselves in the foot. So I think what they would do is have their K-pop mini doll sets, you know, Demon Hunters mini doll sets, and then have like an icon set like Lego Wicked that has minifigures and things like that. But maybe I am off base there. So I don't think this one's likely, but dang, is the property so popular, Lego's just gonna do their own thing, you know? Perry the Platypus. There's been a couple Perry and Phineas and Ferb projects that have been denied, so I don't think this one's gonna change things, but this is just such a cute interpretation of Perry the Platypus. I love how they built this character. So that's cute, but I don't think it's likely, just based on what came before. There was even a canceled Phineas and Ferb board game back in the day. Then there's the Converse Chuck Taylor All-Star. This one right here, you know, we got a shoe theme that just started recently with Nike. I don't know if that's like a competing license where they're like, oh, we're making Nike sets, so you can't do Converse sets. I don't think it would be like that. I think this is something that, you know, Converse does have a fan base. I feel like they could maybe release this. I don't know. I'm in the middle with this one where it's like, okay, I feel like they would do this as a separate release from Ideas. But then again, I mean, like, you know, are they going to do a separate Converse set? Like, this could be an excuse to just do a one-off Converse set, you know, just one Lego Ideas. And you can see this one has like shoelaces literally in the build, which is quite interesting. So yeah, that could go both ways. I don't think it's entirely unlikely, but I don't think it's like a guarantee. Next is the Vampire Diaries Salvatore Boarding House. Now, I'm not familiar too much with the Vampire Diaries TV show. I do know it ended quite a bit ago, and there's been 2 spin-offs that kind of continued the legacy, but even the latest spin-off ended it in 2022. So there's nothing in the TV or streaming world in terms of new content for the Vampire Diaries, but there's still a very dedicated online fan base. With that being said, though, I don't think this will get made to be a set. I just feel like that fan base still is a bit too niche for this to be made as a set. You know, it's not like the Friends fan base where they just can slap Friends on any merchandise. It would probably sell. You know, we even ended up getting a sequel to the Lego Ideas Friends set. With that being said, I mean, this is a very cool looking building here. I kind of like how the art right here is a bit like the artwork of the Lego Scooby Doo set boxes. That's pretty funny. But yeah, I don't think this is likely to get made. And we did get the Twilight set recently, which kind of has similar ideas. You know, it is this kind of, I wouldn't say YA, but, you know, romantic vampire modern story and everything there. They have similar fan bases, and maybe down the line, if there's like a Vampire Diaries reboot or anything like that, this would have more of a chance. But yeah, there's too much overlap with what's on the market, and I just don't think the market is actually there. Okay, so there's the Backstreet Boys. I want it that way. The design of this is another band set, which we got once for Lego Ideas before, unless you also count the Yellow Submarine set. The one that I'm talking about, though, is the BTS set. And the BTS set did not sell too well. That was on clearance, at least in the United States. I don't know how it sold in the rest of the world. So I feel like that has really put a marking on Lego doing more of these band sets from Ideas. So I don't think this will get made either, even though there's some nostalgia there for sure. There's a Jumanji board game set. Recently, there was a 90s contest that Lego hosted where basically builders would make a Lego Ideas project based off of a 90s movie, and it had the potential of becoming a Lego set. And the one that ended up winning from there was X-Files and Wallace and Gromit. So we didn't end up getting Jumanji, and I feel like that was our best shot in getting Jumanji. And if the popularity wasn't in that vote, I think Lego would still be a little bit hesitant to make this into a set. However, there is a new Jumanji movie coming out, I think next year or something like that. So maybe that would raise the chances and popularity of this coming out. It is a very distinct build that I feel like it has a leg up over some other franchises that would just give us a house or anything like that. Like, the board game is such an important part of the Jumanji movie and the movies that followed it, the sequels, that has a leg up, but I still think it's just a little bit off in popularity currently for them to make this. But yeah, we'll see what the future holds. So I don't think that one's likely. And Avatar: The Last Airbender, this gets submitted a billion times, specifically like the Appa build and everything, and I love it every time. And I would love if they would make an Avatar: The Last Airbender Lego Ideas set We got Avatar: The Last Airbender sets back in 2006 with just 2 sets, and that was like near the start of the series. And we haven't gotten any Lego Avatar: The Last Airbender sets since, but there were Lego Fortnite skins. And that gave us a little bit of hope, but for some reason, Lego does not want to make Avatar: The Last Airbender sets, even a collector's set like this, which I don't quite understand. I feel like this would be a huge seller for a property that sure doesn't have a current TV series, but we're going to have a sequel movie hitting streaming later this year. There's a sequel television show. I don't know why they keep denying this, but since they keep denying this, I don't see this being a change where, oh, this project is going to be the one that will give us Lego Avatar sets. So I'll have to say this is unlikely just based off of their previous actions, but I don't get why they are hesitant to make a new Avatar: The Last Airbender set. Then we have The Life of Koi. The design here is actually pretty from this overhead view, and kind of how it has like a different design where you're not getting the full koi, but you're getting it in the water right here. I quite like that. Apparently we haven't gotten any ideas projects that are just koi fish that have reached 10,000 supporters. That's kind of interesting. I thought we did for some reason. So I guess this is the first in that regard. I could see Lego maybe making this. I would have to put this in a maybe in terms of if they would make this or not. I feel like while that flat design I was talking about where you don't get the full koi fish is a pro in just how distinct it looks, but it's also a con where I feel like they might be a little bit scared to just sell this and be like, yeah, it's just part of the fish. Who knows? Maybe that's a bad call there. But out of most of the projects we've looked at in this video, this one has a much higher likelihood. Like I said, though, at the end of the day, I would just place it kind of in the middle of they could maybe make it, but it could go both ways. Lego really likes to make these, nature-based builds here and there from Lego ideas. Recently we got the otter announced. We've gotten stuff like the insects, the birds. So that's some of the pros there. So I don't know. Then we have the autumn Japanese onsen. Now recently Lego released the autumn cottage set, which has autumn vibes, but not with the architecture that this specific build brings. And this specific build's architecture, reminds me of some of the other Japan-based architecture Lego ideas pitches that we've seen very recently even. A lot of those have been denied. So I just see based off of other success rates with this type of Japanese architecture and everything there, Lego might not do this, which is a shame because I actually really love the architecture of this build here. And you can even see with these sliding doors right here, that's freaking awesome. Gets me a bit nostalgic to my trip to Japan in 2020, which was one of the best moments of my life. But yeah, I don't see this as likely just based on all the other Japanese architecture-based sets that Lego has denied that reach 10,000 supporters for ideas. There's another Lego Krusty Krab ideas that reach 10K. Now, there's been multiple Krusty Krabs that have been denied from Lego ideas, some that are still in review, and I wish Lego would just make this as a set. The design here is so much better looking than, say, the 2009 or 2006 Krusty Krab, because we had a Lego SpongeBob theme that ran from 2006 to 2012, and for some reason Lego hasn't touched the license since. But recently there's been some competing brands that have had their license with SpongeBob end, which has been really suspicious, and I made a whole conspiracy video there that maybe Lego is getting the license back. I hope that's what that means. And also Fortnite has partnered with SpongeBob recently, and Lego Fortnite is such a huge thing with a collaboration between Epic Games and Lego. But the Fortnite collabs don't lend themselves to having minifigure versions since it's just like a partner in game. So with all that being said, maybe we'll be getting SpongeBob sets. Would it be a Lego idea set like this? I don't think they would go with Lego ideas. I think they would go with giving us an icon set. Think the Krusty Burger or the Lord of the Rings sets and stuff like that, where they don't have to worry about giving money to the creators who made these ideas projects. Not that that would be a huge problem, and they could just kind of work with their own material on building a set up from scratch. So with all that being said, I don't think this is likely at all, just based off of the track record of Lego continuously denying SpongeBob ideas pitches that have reached 10,000 supporters like this one. But dang, would I love to get a Lego Ideas SpongeBob set. Then we have the Grinch Whoville, which would be the 4th Lego Ideas project that reached 10,000 supporters for the Grinch. The other 3 have not been approved. So if the other 3 have not been approved, I don't see this one being approved. There is a competing brand that still puts out Grinch sets, so that could be a factor, but it just seems like a property Lego doesn't want to pick up. But I mean, they have been merchandising the heck out of the Grinch recently. I remember McDonald's had a huge collab in December with the Grinch that actually sold like hotcakes. So maybe that could fuel the success rate of a Lego Grinch set. I believe this is based off of the 2000 movie with Jim Carrey, which would make it one of the first Lego Jim Carrey like minifigures. We've never gotten a Jim Carrey minifigure before. And the take on that minifigure is very interesting. I would like a Lego Grinch set, honestly, even if it's based off that 2000 movie, because it's so weird. But yeah, it doesn't seem like a property Lego wants to make as a set, just based off of the track record of previous ideas results. There's also a Scooby Doo project, which is made by the same person who made the Vampire Diaries project. And you can see they have that art kind of appearing once again, but now with the green slime and everything there. I love this. I mean, look, there's like a roller coaster and everything there. This would also be a great opportunity to have a reissue of the Mystery Van, which is one of the most iconic vehicles just in popular culture. Maybe we'll get a Lego Lego Speed Champions set of that sometime soon. Who knows? But I would love if they made this. But multiple ideas projects have happened with Lego Scooby-Doo that have reached 10,000 supporters, and they've all been denied. So if they're not making it with those, I don't think they would make it with this specific one, even though this one is so awesome and very creative. I mean, we did have the Scooby-Doo line that lasted just 1 year in 2015, unless you count like one random poly bag. And I love that theme, and they had a mansion in that theme as well. This is so cool, but yeah, for some reason, this is another property that Lego just doesn't want to do an ideas project for, even though I'd say it's ripe to have a Lego ideas set for Scooby-Doo. Then there's a Lego Ninjago project called the Monastery of Spinjitzu. I don't see this getting made because this just conflicts with the Lego Ninjago theme. I don't think Lego would want to do an ideas project based off of Ninjago unless they have like a special contest or something like that. It's a great build, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I don't see this possible. And we'll see a little bit more overlap when it comes to stuff like BrickHeadz. And actually, speaking of which, Cactus Terrariums, I can't even get the name right. This is an overlap with the Botanicals theme. I don't see Lego making this at all, even though these are also very lovely. They would rather just release this in the Botanicals theme, you know, once again, not having to deal with all of these rights with the fan creators and stuff like that, and they could just build up their own design. So yeah, I don't see that getting made. The shrimp fried rice, I love this project so much. This is such a fun mechanism right here, and it's very creative, where you have these takeout boxes right here, and then shrimp fried rice literally being made by the shrimp. This is something that I think could be made. It's such a unique idea, and it's also something that you could say, okay, it's the Lego shrimp fried rice set. You could put that on store shelves, and people will be like, wait, shrimp fried rice? Oh, I totally get what's going on here. Like, this could, I dare say, like, be very popular with normies, you know, people who aren't into Lego, where it's just like, oh, look at this cute shrimp, like making shrimp fried rice, and it's like a mechanism and everything there. I don't think it's a hard sell. I honestly do not think this is a hard sell, and it's very creative. It's very unique. I could totally see this being made. This is one of the most likely of this review that we've gone over so far. Okay, so next is Antique Telescope. I mean, we did get a telescope with Lego Creator that just came out. That's a really fun set. I feel like that has too much overlap with this set right here. And I do feel like this is a little bit more of a hard sell. If the telescope itself, it doesn't work like a telescope. So if you're just kind of selling this telescope, that would probably be like, you know, maybe around $100 or something like that. Am I misjudging it in price? I guess let me know in the comments. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think this is something that would be a very popular thing that would be flying off the store shelves and stuff like that. Even though Lego does like making objects from ideas, you know, large versions of brick-built objects and stuff like that. So I don't think this is likely, even if the build is really nice. Okay, so there's two Sailor Moon projects. The first one are these buildable figures. And this is very interesting because we've never gotten Sailor Moon Lego Ideas projects to reach 10,000 supporters until this review. So I guess there's some Sun and Surge in Sailor Moon to have two projects of Sailor Moon reach 10,000 supporters in one review. I absolutely love these brick-built figures. I think this is awesome. I mean, just like the shaping of these and everything, like, it's such a unique build compared to, say, construction figures or the buildable figures of even some really good ones, like the Iron Man one from Marvel recently. And I think this could capture a demographic that doesn't usually buy Lego, which I see Lego trying to do with ideas. I guess the property being a little more niche, you know, at least around the United States, might be a little hard for it to sell, but I feel like this would be popular, you know, Japan and stuff like that. I've seen different anime figurine Lego builds like this before, but never as a Lego set. So I think this has the chance for that uniqueness. The thing holding it back would be the property, but Sailor Moon is one of the more, I would say, popular animes before, you know, like the 2010s and things like that in the United States, where this does have a nostalgia factor for a lot of people who grew up with it, with the dubs and stuff. I don't know what channels they were on, where it had kind of a run, I think, in the 90s and early 2000s. So yeah, it's not the most like popular nostalgic anime out there. It's not Dragon Ball Z, but I think there's still a fan base that could pull up for this, even in the United States, you know. And then, you know, in Japan, it's extremely popular, and there's still series going on for this and everything there. So I think this has a medium level possibility. So a lot more likely than other licenses we've seen in this video, where there's some things holding it back, but there's a lot of things going for it. As for the wand right here, right, it is, sorry, the rod. I'm not too familiar with Sailor Moon. I love the build here as well. You can see the physical version there, which is awesome. I don't think this is likely, though, where you don't have the characters to sell it with this set, and it is more of just this, you know, rod build right here. That's going to be a little bit more of a hard sell for Lego. I feel like the figurines are much more likely than this, but still, great build, don't get me wrong. Okay, American National Park postcards. Cool idea, and we kind of saw a similar postcard style with that one. It was like a space set. It's this set right here. So I don't know how successful that was. I didn't see too much buzz around that set. So I guess really this being made relies on how successful that was. But also, I like the builds here, but it's a little bit hard to capture those distinct looks of these parks and things like that with these pictures right here. And no offense to the builder of this or anything, I don't know if this does those parks like the best justice in this like postcard format and everything, and I think that might hold it back. And no offense to the builder or anything, I like the builds here a lot. You know, you have the titles on there and everything, but I feel like this is a lot harder of a sell, and it is pretty niche to just being like, okay, this is for the United States. You know, I don't see people around the world really buying these. I know, yeah, people will travel here and things like that, but again, I feel like the builds don't do the parks justice, but it is incredibly hard to capture the beauty of those parks in this format right here. You know, it's not the creator's fault or anything like that. So I don't think this one's likely, unfortunately. All right, more Scooby-Doo. This is one where it's like, okay, great builds, you know, great BrickHeadz of these characters, but this is not being made because they don't make BrickHeadz Lego idea sets. Like it's just something that doesn't get made. That's the overlap that literally would prevent this from being made. So yeah, and then we have all the heftiness of, again, what I was talking about with the Scooby-Doo other project, where there's been so many other Scooby-Doo projects that have just been denied. I don't see why this one would be made. Edward Scissorhands Castle. This is another one that was in that 90s special contest where it could have been made into a set, but again, they chose X-Files and Wallace and Gromit. So if it wasn't made there, I don't think it would be made here, but gosh, this is lovely. And I recently rewatched Edward Scissorhands. Oh, I love the part usage right here. But yeah, I recently rewatched the film after like so many years, and it's a great film. But yeah, I don't see this being made. I think the chance was that 90s, you know, ideas contest, and it wasn't made there. It won't be made here. Asterix and Obelix. The design here is actually, we've gotten Asterix and Obelix 10Ks that have been denied before. So if those have been denied, I don't see this one being the one that, you know, oh, Lego's going to approve this specific one. But I do like the builds. Yeah, I like how they interpreted those classic characters right there. It's such a strange build with the body and everything there. I don't think Lego would do this, but that's freaking awesome. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't think this is likely just based on the past history of Lego ideas and this property. Okay. This is one I don't know too much about, the CESSNA 185 Skywagon. And it looks like it's a Technic build, and Lego doesn't do Technic sets for ideas, so I would say that's holding it back. But beyond that, I can't really comment on this. You know, the vehicle sets, it's hard for me to judge if it's not based off a movie or a show or stuff like that, because I'm not too familiar. Oh, how popular is this in the world of aviation and things like that? But I would say just seeing how this is so Technic based and Lego doesn't do Technic idea sets, I don't think this would get made. Apparently there's another Bob's Burger project, and this one's more of like a sitcom slice. You know, you think of, say, even the Central Perk set where we have a little restaurant right here. I feel like if they were to make a Bob's Burger set, it would be the restaurant, like the full building. And I have the same previous holdups as I had with that other project. So unfortunately, I don't think this will be made, but cool build. I love the TV right here, especially. Okay. Old Western Town. Oh, I love this. You know, the design here, I would love to see new Lego Western sets. We've gotten some tastes from like the Bricklink design program. Maybe that's our best bet, because there was that really awesome like Western movie set Lego Ideas project that reached 10,000 supporters that Lego didn't end up doing. And I thought that was like our best shot with getting something like this. This is just a Western town. And it seems like Lego has some holdups with the whole idea of doing a Western theme or things like that. So I don't think this will be made just based on how many times they deny Western projects in Lego Ideas. But dang, would I love that to be made. It reminds me of the 90s Western sets, which are so nostalgic to me. The Hunger Games 5 arenas. So Hunger Games is something we don't know the status of with Lego Ideas, because there's 3 projects, including this one in review, that we don't have any comments on. You know, it hasn't been approved or not approved yet. So I can't comment on that regard. But yeah, Hunger Games is a property that they only recently started allowing. For a while, they deemed it as something that's not appropriate for Ideas, but I guess they just gave up on that because, you know, there is so much killing in here, but there's killing in Star Wars and stuff. Their rules are so inconsistent. I don't know. I feel like this being mini scale might hold it back. And it's kind of hard because Hunger Games doesn't have too many distinct locations that you could plop onto like a Lego build and people be like, oh, that's the Hunger Games location, you know? There's a lot of terrains and things like that. It's a harder sell in that regard. Now, there's a new Hunger Games movie coming out, so who knows? But I would say this one's not likely just because of the mini scale. And yeah, but recently, hey, we got the Twilight collab with Lionsgate and Lego. And Hunger Games is another Lionsgate franchise. Avatar: The Last Airbender, Day of the Black Sun. So this is different than what we usually get. I mean, yeah, there is an Appa build here. But the build here is more unique and something I can't compare to other 10K projects. Very interesting looking, but yeah, the same holdups I had with the other projects of Avatar. They just don't want to do like an ideas set of this for some reason. And I think it's even more unlikely because this build right here is less recognizable. You know, if they were to do an ideas Avatar set, it's going to be an Appa build. So yeah, I don't think that one's likely. Axolotls. You know, axolotls are kind of this memeable animal now. People love axolotls. I mean, they are adorable. I get it. But specifically this build, I think has some chance. You know, if we got an otter build, and I feel like axolotls would sell more than otters. So yeah, I'd say this one's relatively likely. You know, it's funny. It's probably one of the most likely of the whole review we've had so far. I don't think there's an overlap or anything with any sets or anything like that. So yeah, I can see this being made, honestly. The Witch House. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is a beautiful, beautiful build. We've gotten a Witch House recently from Lego Ideas with, you know, the Hocus Pocus set. This looks a bit like, say, the Snow White set, which is retiring soon, I think. But I don't see them making this. But it's still a really cool set that I could see being made into a Bricklink designer program set. Okay, Settlers of Catan. They actually had a Settlers of Catan ideas project that was denied before. I don't think this will change things. I feel like this is still too niche of a board game to have a set, you know, over something like Monopoly or things like that. Like, I feel like Monopoly would be the board game they would make as a Lego set, you know? But they haven't even done that. I mean, Hasbro and Lego team up now. I really hope to do a Lego Monopoly sometime. That would be like a childhood dream come true. But as this stands, I mean, it's a really cool interpretation of this board game, but I don't think it's likely, especially based on previous history where they have denied a Catan project before. So, oh well. Hedgehog. Shout out to my friend Heather, who loves hedgehogs. The design here, I really love the build with the little spikes right here. I mean, that's such a cool use of that one piece, like just a billion times. Very cool organic build. Can't really compare this to any sets on the market or anything like that. I could see this being made. I feel like the axolotl is a little bit more marketable and things like that. But yeah, I see this being likely too. I mean, Lego does like making animals as idea sets. Lost. So here's a diorama of the TV show Lost. which that's a really cool build here. It reminds me a bit of that one Jurassic Park 3 set. The design here even has a quote and everything. I just feel like Lost merch isn't something that sells like amazingly or anything like that, and I feel like that's going to hold it back. Lost is a one and done TV show that doesn't have like, you know, sequels and things like that. It doesn't seem to be too much in the pop culture zeitgeist. So the popularity of the franchise is what's going to hold it back here. But dang, is that build super cool, even though I've never really seen Lost. Christmas Gnome Gonk. This is cute. You know, a gnome build from Lego could be interesting, but this is going to be weird. Maybe this is so off base, but I feel like Lego wouldn't want to make like a full-size gnome because they wouldn't suggest to put it outside, or I don't know. Is that that might be a really stupid take, but I feel like when you get a gnome, like they're supposed to be these garden objects, and I feel like Lego's going to be a little bit hesitant in saying, oh yeah, just put this in the front of your lawn and things like that. I don't know. Is that a bad take? That might be a bad take. So I feel like that's going to hold it back. Is just like the purpose of gnomes being applied to this Lego set. They would have to make it like extra sturdy and everything there because, you know, that's going to be knocked over and things. So yeah, that's my 2 cents though. Maybe that's completely off base. I mean, I don't say like that's my reasoning, but I still feel like this is a medium likelihood. Because yeah, I mean, we haven't gone a full-size Lego gnome from you know, any Lego sets or themes or anything like that. So it does have that novelty there, and it's a very easy sell. Like, oh, it's the Lego gnome. It's a Christmas gnome specifically. And Lego does like their holiday sets, so who knows? Who knows? So yeah, I put it like a medium possibility. I have some reasons why it might not be. I have some reasons why it will be. So yeah. Paddington. We've gotten Paddington projects that have been denied from 10,000 supporters. So that's going to probably hold it back here. I think this is a very cute build though. I like the shaping and everything on Paddington there, and this is like a very iconic scene from Paddington lore. That's funny. There's like a sandwich at the top there. That's cute. I like that. Marmalade sandwich, right? And you could swap out the hats in the non-hat look. That's super cute. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be made just based off of the history of other Paddington projects from LEGO Ideas. Supernatural, the bunker. Now, Supernatural is interesting because on LEGO Ideas, there was an uptick in Supernatural LEGO Ideas projects reaching 10,000 supporters in 2025. So like a bunch of them are in review, and none of them have been commented on whether or not they'll be made into a LEGO set. So I can't really say, oh, based on past results, this isn't going to be made as a LEGO set or anything like that. But there's clearly a fan base for it. And yeah, it is a show that ended, and I'm not sure there's any shows currently for Supernatural. But the fan base for this one is way more there than, say, Vampire Diaries. Like, these people show up. Like, it's pretty crazy online. So I see this being more likely than, say, a Vampire Diaries. Is it still something that's going to be made? I don't think so. I mean, the locations of this aren't like the most, recognizable things in pop culture. And I think that's going to hold it back. So if anything, it would have to be like a smaller set, I feel like, for Supernatural for it to be made. So I don't think this one's likely, but I don't think it's impossible to see a LEGO Ideas Supernatural set. And I feel like it's going to happen eventually. Universal Monsters. So I was like, wait, have we gotten Universal Monsters LEGO Ideas before? Like, you know, not as sets, but like in 10K supporters. And I looked and there was not called Universal Monsters, but there's been, a Dracula set, for example. So that's probably where I got confused. And of course, the look of this is like a modern day version of that studio set that I love, which I did review on the channel. The laboratory set, which did kind of blend some different monster stuff into one LEGO set. So I could see kind of a little bit of nostalgia there, but yeah, a specific Universal's monster set actually did come out, and it was just one set, and it was a BrickHeadz that released, and they never did any sets after. And it was it was a Frankenstein's monster BrickHeadz. So I always wondered, why didn't they do like LEGO minifigure sets of anything there? But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there is some popularity for the Universal's Monsters brand once again with like Epic Universe's new park and everything there. Like they have a little section of the park that's branded for Universal Monsters. So it has that going for it. But it is a bit of a tough sell as a property, just on a broad, like, okay, this would probably be like $100 to $200 set. Oh, here's this, random laboratory castle going on right here. That's just kind of an amalgamation of things. I love stuff like Lego Monster Fighter, so I hope this would get made, but I don't think this one's very likely, unfortunately. Those minifigure designs are awesome, though. pirate themed restaurant. Oh, I would love this. This is probably not going to get made because it looks like a modular building, and there's so many sets that are like modular buildings submitted into Lego Ideas and they keep getting denied. I would love this to get made. It's such a unique take on bringing pirates to the world of city, and this is stuff that exists, you know. They have medieval times for like castle, but I know like they also have pirates versions of medieval times. I just can't think of any in Central Florida where I live. But I love the build at the front right there. That's so much fun. And this is giving me vibes of Pirates of Barracuda Bay, which is a very popular Lego Ideas set. I love that set so much. This is awesome. But yeah, I don't think it's going to get made because they just don't do modular buildings in the world of Lego Ideas, unfortunately. The Maldives Water Villa. Oh, this is such a distinct like type of building. I feel like when you say Maldives Water Villa, a lot of normies won't know what that is, but seeing the build here, oh, I think that could be enough to sell it. I would not dismiss this. This is going to be in the medium likelihood for me. I could see this going both ways. I could see it being approved. I could see it not being approved. It is such a distinct building type, and something that I can't compare to other Lego Ideas sets. So yeah, I think this has a lot going for it, but I do think there's some things holding it back. So it's in the middle of likelihood for me. I'm getting vibes of, what is it, like Gelato Beach from Super Mario Sunshine. Ugh, I do not want to roll that watermelon, please, no. But they definitely took the buildings from, you know, Maldives, Water Villas, and put it in Gelato Beach. Shouts out to Super Mario Sunshine, I love that game. All right, Wrigley Field. This is a miniature version of Wrigley Field. And the design here, I feel like, is distinct for a lot of baseball fans. I'm not sure the, you know, world appeal of this. They used to do these stadiums for specific stadiums in football, and then they stopped doing those. So I feel like if they stopped doing those, I don't know if they would be inclined to doing one for baseball. It does seem like these have like regional appeal. So I don't know. I don't think this one's likely, but I don't think it's something I could like entirely dismiss. The build there is really nice. There's Anna Green Gables. This is something where I haven't seen an Anna Green Gables 10K Lego Ideas project, so we can't really comment in that regard. This is like something that's pretty classic to pop culture, but I don't know if it has too much relevance nowadays, unfortunately. Like, I don't know if this is something, this would be like a $150 to $250 set, and I don't know if Lego's willing to put so much effort into this property right here because of the lack of popularity in the modern age. So I don't think this one would be made, but dang, is the build for this just absolutely beautiful, even though I have no attachment to the property. This is the Train Junkyard. Oh, I love this. This is really awesome, and I wish they would make this, but I don't know. I feel like it's not impossible, but I also feel like this is going to be another one that you might be like, wait, what? This is something where Lego probably doesn't want kids to go into like junkyards, you know, going into trains and stuff. It could be dangerous. So I feel like that would hold them back. You know, they don't even do like Lego food anymore because they fear that kids are going to choke on, you know, if they had Lego candy, kids might eat a real Lego brick and things like that. Even though this would be an 18+ set. And I also think like displays like this at this point have become more of like a Bricklink design program type thing. Which stinks because I do love sets like, say, the Treehouse or, you know, we are getting stuff like the Italian Rivera, so maybe I'm wrong there, you know, when we got something like that. But I don't know. I don't think this one's likely because of those reasons. Maybe I'm totally off base there. The Muppets, ma-na-na-na, boo-doo-doo-doo-doo, na-na-na-na, boo-boo-doo-boo. I think that scene, you know, that classic Muppet Show segment doesn't have too much relevance in pop culture nowadays, which stinks. But the Muppets are getting, you know, they've always had a dedicated fan base, and they're getting a new show. So it's a pilot, really. It's not confirmed to show, so it's just going to be like a pilot, and then they're going to see how popular that is. And maybe that could help something like this being made. But I feel like if they were to do a Muppets Ideas set, it would be the Muppet Stage, which, you know, that we've gotten that as Lego Ideas 10K, you know, things that have been denied, unfortunately, by Lego. So it seems like they don't want to do a Lego Ideas Muppet set at this time being, We did, of course, get the Muppets minifigures, which I absolutely love that. I do wish we got the Muppets theater stage. That would be so cool, but whatever. Let's hope that show is very popular. Go watch it when it airs, I think in like February, the pilot or whatever. And hopefully that brings some more popularity to the Muppets. Train bookends. Now, the bookends theme is something that LEGO had in 2025. And there's been no rumors for any except like a Slinky Dog one for Toy Story. So I don't know how successful that theme was. And I feel like if they were to release a bookend set, it would be their own creation and not a LEGO Ideas bookend. So I don't think this one's going to be likely. Again, more of that overlap I was mentioning for some other ideas. The Full House living room and kitchen. Full House is, a relatively popular show from back in the day. And then they brought it back for Fuller House. But again, I don't know if the people are showing up, streaming that and everything, because it did have that revival, and that revival ended, and there hasn't been anything since. Fuller House is no longer going on. Something like The Office still gets streamed to death nowadays. That made sense to become a set. And there's even a sequel show that's still going on for The Office, apparently, or The Paper, whatever the heck it's called. So I don't think Full House has the popularity in today's pop culture scene as it did back then for this to be made, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't know if there's going to be much more sitcom sets, but we'll see. So yeah, I've never really gotten into Full House. This is a city skyline bookends. Beautiful project. Same thing I said with the train bookends, where yeah, they're not going to make this. There's just an overlap with this existing little sub theme they have amongst licenses right now. The Bayou Magic. I love this. I mean, we don't really get Bayous from Lego. This is such a beautiful build right here. I feel like this is almost a distinct enough location for them to make this a Lego idea set. I was talking about the Italian Riviera. That was something that's like, oh, that's such a distinct type of architecture, and this is like a scenic location of like the swampy bayou setting and everything there. I feel like this could be made. I don't think it's like the most likely thing out there, but I definitely put it like a high likelihood, I would say. So yeah, this is beautiful. This is a type of thing where, okay, if they are going to do like a building, which I said the buildings are kind of rare from LEGO Ideas nowadays, it's such a distinct location architecture that they could do this. I did say with the Japanese one that we saw earlier, that was like something they wouldn't make, but that was just based on like they keep denying that type of Japanese architecture in other Ideas projects. But it seems like this one is more distinct to other Ideas projects. I feel like this one's more likely, but maybe I'm off base there. The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. This is an iconic Disney ride. One that Ash and Flash tricked me on. Yeah, Ash and Flash tricked me to ride this. I don't know if I've told that I have told that story before, but he was like, we were at Hollywood Studios together, and he was like, oh, it's just it's like the Haunted Mansion. It's just a little baby ride, And I was like, okay. And then I'm on there with him, and I'm freaking out. I'm like peeing my pants because like it's a freaking drop ride or whatever. Like I hate heights and stuff like that. So Ash and Flash, you son of a gun. Yeah, the design of this though is interesting because it's a miniature version of the Hollywood Tower Hotel. We got a miniature version of the Haunted Mansion, which was just like a one-off like Lego store exclusive set. And then they kind of stopped doing those. I feel like if they kept doing those, we would get this specifically. But then again, we never got Lego Twilight Zone sets before, and that would require a whole other license. This isn't just within the Disney licenses. I mean, Twilight Zone, I'm not sure if that's like something that's owned by Disney or whatever. Regardless, yeah, I don't think this one will be made because, again, it doesn't seem like they want to make these miniature ride versions. I wish they would do like a Disney rides theme. Like, that'd be so cool. But yeah, they don't have interest in that. So I would love this to be made. I don't think it would be made. I mean, I would love it if it was like minifigure scale. It looks beautiful in micro scale, but micro scale is not super my thing. Oh my gosh, this is so nostalgic. The iMac G3. Oh, I used to play like Kidspiration on here. This is awesome. I mean, how they did the translucent framing here is just so cool and like so on point and so distinct. Oh my gosh, and the keyboard too. I love this. I feel like this could be made because it is like a retro object, but it's such a distinct one. There is a nostalgia there, and it has a really cool build. Like I could totally see this being made, and I would probably buy it. Like, this is very nostalgic to me. The libraries that like my kindergarten would have these, just lined up. Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. So that's freaking cool. BBC Ghosts. I'm not too familiar with Ghosts. I was researching it a bit before this video. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like me not being familiar with this, and I work in like the movie industry. I know this TV or whatever. Yeah, I work because I'm like a movie critic, so that means I work in the movie industry. Now, you know what I mean. I'm very up to date with this kind of stuff, and I feel like if there's not the universal appeal there, I didn't know about it, then I feel like that's a holdback to like normies in America and things like that. And yeah, I'm not trying to be like, oh, it only matters if it's popular in America or whatever, but that is such a huge market for Lego, you know, North America. So yeah, I mean, Doctor Who, we got a Lego Ideas project, and that is popular over here. And that they just made a Lego Ideas project, and then 2 Lego Ideas, or sorry, Lego Dimension sets, and then they never did anything since. And like, if that wasn't popular enough, BBC Ghost has no shot, you know? But yeah, the build here is really cool. We are getting, what was it called? Downton Abbey. So that's something, but that is something that is, yeah, it's a British show, but it's so popular, like, all around the world. So that made sense. Squirrel. Okay, I like the design for the squirrel here, that bushy tail with like the little bush piece. I feel like that might have some stability issues though. Yeah, I don't know though. I don't know, you know, no offense to Rain, I don't know people would want to buy a Lego squirrel build, you know. I feel like the axolotl and the hedgehog are more marketable. You know, the axolotls aren't necessarily like the most popular pet out there or whatever, but they're, I don't know, more cutesy, you know, animals and things like that. So I don't feel like this one would be made, unfortunately. Pilot boat. Dan Pilot. I actually don't know much about this. Okay, so I guess it's just like, it's not tied to a specific, because I was like, oh, who's this minifigure and everything there? Maybe it's just based off the creator or whatever. But yeah, this is a cool boat. I don't know if they would make this, because I feel like there has to be more of a selling point than just being, oh, it's a pilot boat, you know. But yeah, I really like boat builds. I don't know if this would be made just because it's kind of a hard sell for something so to be distinct to the average consumer, but it does look cool, I'll be honest. And you know, we did get a boat for Lego Ideas with Jaws. Modern Family, Jay and Gloria's house. Yeah, Modern Family is very popular. Maybe this was at the height of Modern Family's popularity. Like, you know, we got that Lego Big Bang Theory when that show was extremely popular. If they had this a couple years ago, I feel like this would be made. But it is something that I think isn't as popular anymore. Like, it doesn't get a lot of streams and things like that. It doesn't get a lot of discussion online. So I feel like that would probably hold this back. And I don't think this one's likely, unfortunately. So yeah. The Witches Workshop Book Nook. For a second I was like, is this based off the Witches movie, you know, Roald Dahl? The design here is really cool, but what is this? It's a book nook. And yeah, book nooks, bookends, that's like a whole other thing from Lego that they have their own sub-theme. So I don't see this being likely. And yes, I know I probably use book nook and bookends interchangeable, but they're both kind of like the same product, and then some book nooks from Lego have become bookends, like that Harry Potter one. So I don't think this one's likely. We talked about the overlap before. Yogoslav Kisok K67. Yeah, I don't have too much knowledge on Yogoslav kiosk, but this is kind of cool. It's like, you know, a newspaper kiosk and a hot dog kiosk over there. And you know, when I was in Denmark, that's not Yugoslavia, I had I saw so many hot dog kiosks, like in the Billund airport. Oh my gosh, there's like 1 billion hot dog kiosks. So yeah, this is popular in definitely some parts of Europe, but I do think, you know, in the United States, this is something where people will be like, wait, what? And again, I know I'm not trying to be so centric to, oh, it only matters if it's popular in the United States. I feel like the United States is such a big market for Lego. It has to be popular with some normies over here, you know? So I love this, but I don't think it would be made. It's funny because there's Friends characters right here. Tiffany and Company engagement box. Okay, so this is like a very popular type of engagement ring box. I mean, it is a cool idea to get a Lego engagement ring box. You know, there's that real world purpose there. I was like, is that a real ring right there? It looks like a real ring, but then they have like these brick built rings right here. this is an interesting thing. I wouldn't totally discount this because this could be extremely cheap, and it would be something that, yeah, it's like such a low effort for them to put out, and it would probably sell like relatively like, you know, good. Because it's like, it's such a, you know, it's a timeless thing. It's an absolutely timeless thing that people could just buy. It's like the wedding toppers that you'd see at Lego stores. So I see this as being rather possible. The only thing that's holding it back is that Lego doesn't do cheap idea sets that aren't giveaway promos. I wish they would. I mean, you know, the Tron set is one of my favorites, and that was like one of the cheapest ones. It's one of the best Lego ideas projects, and they never did anything like that again. Oh well. Adventurers Return to Egypt. Oh, I love this. I love Lego Adventurers. I don't think this would be made. They don't really make reboot sets of classic Lego themes for ideas. You know, it's not entirely impossible. We got the Pirates of Barracuda Bay, which literally had a remake of Black Sea's Barracuda in it. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like if they're not rebooting the Egypt theme since Pharaoh's Quest, I don't think they would bring this back. I would love this though. Oh my gosh, I would love this so much. But yeah, they're not going to do this. But it's awesome. It's awesome. I don't see them doing these theme reboots in this ideas theme. Okay, so there's Road Trip. I love the build for the camper in here. And I really like that like little boulder build right here. This canyon right here is so awesome. How they have the shaping and everything there. I love a scene like this. And they almost did something like this with, it was the Lego Ideas, was it the camping trip set, which I think is still in the parking lot. So like we don't even know the status of that. I guess if they make that, this won't be made. But if it doesn't get made, this has more of a likelihood. But again, I almost feel like this is something that would be for the Bricklink design program, where it is just kind of like a generic little minifigure scene, not really tied to specific locations, stuff like that. And they do, you know, the Bricklink designer program to kind of capture ideas like that. But this would be awesome. I really love how this came out. So yeah, I don't know if this one is likely, but I would like it to be made because the builds are just so good here. Stand Together, Earth Matters. Okay, so this is their own personal interpretation of the STEM challenge. So we did get a STEM set recently. So maybe there's some overlap there. This set's so woke, it's about saving the environment. But in reality, it has a good message. I feel like this is going to be a bit of a hard sell. I don't think the STEM set sold too well, unfortunately. I like the idea of having this little light bulb right here that you could open up, and inside we have like a scene of just some renewable energy and things like that. So yeah, I don't know if this one's going to be made. I just think it's a tough sell in general, and it seems like when they tried something for STEM, you know, an idea set, it didn't really sell too well either. Lego kimonos. Oh, this is really cute. I love the design of these. I do feel this one is also kind of a hard sell for like the figurines themselves. Like I think that's kind of something where it's like, okay, we just have these like mannequins, you know, faceless mannequins to pose these kimonos on here, and the kimono builds are so beautiful, but I feel like it needs a little bit more character to it to be something that's sold. You know, then you're just kind of selling like these clothes builds, and I feel like that's kind of a hard sell to the average consumer. Maybe I'm thinking too hard about this one, but I don't think this one's likely. But gosh dang, I love how they built that umbrella right there too. This is so cool. My Lego Totoro cat bus. Another property that has been denied multiple times from Lego Ideas that I would love to be made. Some people say there's rights issues with Ghibli merch, where they're very picky about making Studio Ghibli merch. But the build here is so awesome. I mean, look at that. You know, this is a very iconic film that I feel like merch does sell of these when they do have merch. But yeah, I just, based off of the previous results, I don't think this would be made because it's been denied a billion times before. I can't even pronounce that. Gate. I am not familiar with this. And because I'm not familiar, that means it won't be made. No. I feel like this is something that, again, it doesn't have as much universal appeal, and that's what Lego Ideas is looking for, unless they have like an extremely popular niche fan base. The build is pretty though. Tuscany B&B. Wow, this is beautiful. Feel like there's a bit of overlap with the Italian Riviera though, and maybe once that's off the shelves, they should pitch this one again, because gosh, I love how this looks. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. Oh my gosh. Though I was kind of like, the Italian Riviera, I feel like they kind of downgraded it a bit. And I feel like if this was made into a set, it would not be as pretty. Modular medieval corner inn. Beautiful build here, but what I say before, they don't make modulars in Lego Ideas, so this will not be made. The Error's House, the deluxe edition from the vault. Now, we've gotten many Error's House pitched for Lego Taylor Swift Ideas projects before, and all of them have been denied. So I don't see this one changing, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately if you're not a Taylor Swift fan. I'm not really a Taylor Swift fan, but I don't hate her music. She's extremely popular, and I feel like something that's coming in the way is, it seems like she has a premium price. Because, like, if Lego ain't making sets on you, like, there must be something there. Because, like, Lego and Taylor Swift, like, those are two extremely popular brands that could just, you know, sell like hotcakes. And they're not making it there. And then there's rumors that they're making Olivia Rodrigo sets for Lego. And Olivia Rodrigo is very popular, but nowhere near as popular as Taylor Swift, you know? So, yeah, I feel like it's just probably something with her licensing where she's like, she wants a huge cut or something like that. But that's all my speculation. So it seems like there's something holding up Lego from making Tay-Tay sets, and I don't think this one's going to change that. I think is this our last one? It's the Hollow Knight, A Journey to Hollow Nest. Hollow Knight is very popular for an indie game, and there's definitely a fan base out there, and the new game came out and people love it. People say it's one of the best games ever. And there was a Hollow Knight Ideas project that was previously denied, even though it reached 10,000 supporters. And I think that's going to hold it back if that was denied. But then again, maybe timing wasn't right. Maybe with, you know, a Silk Song out, there's a rise of popularity, and the franchise is hot right now. So, yeah, I like the scenes here and everything. I haven't played Hollow Knight, and I really should. You know, I just got through Deltarune, okay? Cut me some slack, okay? I'm not much of a gamer nowadays, and I'm slowly catching up on my indie games. Yeah, I feel like this would be something that sells, but even then, unfortunately, I don't think Hollow Knight has the universal appeal of a mainstream game. You know, it's an indie game, and it's one of the most popular indie games, but I think there's something holding it back. And I would say something like Deltarune has a little bit more of a fan base than Hollow Knight, but even I wouldn't say Deltarune would be made as a Lego set, which makes me sad. But, yeah, unfortunately, I don't think this will be made. But beautiful, beautiful builds, and I would love Lego Hollow Knight sets. That would be so cool. Even though I don't play the game, you know, maybe it would motivate me to play the game. Oh my gosh. So yeah, that is everything we got here. So many different projects, so many. And that was just, like I said, a little bit more than half of last time. I don't even know how I pulled off last time. As you saw here, I had to switch to freaking screen recording halfway through because it was like, okay, this is taking way too long to edit. But let me know in the comments what you think of all of these projects. Which is your favorite? Where you disagree with me? Because I'm just yapping. I'm yapping saying, oh, this isn't going to be made. This is going to be... But I don't know. I literally don't know what's going to be made and what's not going to be made. I mean, this is all just my speculation, you know? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe here for more Lego Ideas takes. And seriously, you leaving a comment. You know, just leaving a comment. And pressing that subscribe button really helps out the channel when the algorithm itself is so rough. And I'll see you later. Peace out. Bye.